Discover Windsor Castle, the oldest royal residence in the world still in use. An icon of the British monarchy, it has been the stage for historic events, centuries-old traditions, and surprising curiosities. In the dawn of history, when humanity was still taking its first steps, arose the need for protection from fellow men. Thus were born fortresses, castles, and walls, growing ever more robust and imposing. Today, we will explore one of these legendary constructions, Windsor Castle. In the heart of Europe, the majestic Windsor Castle rises in the United Kingdom, in England, just over 36 kilometers from London. Covering 5.3 hectares, Windsor Castle is divided into three main sections: the Upper Ward, the Middle Ward, and the Lower Ward. Among its highlights are the Round Tower, the Norman Gate and King Henry VIII's Gate, the North, East, and Library Terraces, the State Apartments, the Private Apartments, and the Visitors' Apartments, Queen Mary's Doll's House, the Quadrangle and other open areas of the Middle and Lower Wards, the Long Walk, the Towers, Edward III, King Henry III, Salisbury, Winchester, and the Curfew Tower, the Chapels, St. George's Chapel and the Albert Memorial Chapel, and the Cloisters, the Horseshoe Cloister and the Canon's Cloister. What we see today is the result of successive renovations over the centuries, which means that little remains of the structure built almost 1,000 years ago. Even so, Windsor Castle was, in its time, the most expensive construction of the entire Middle Ages in England. The castle was built by the Normans shortly after they conquered England in the year 1066. Its purpose was to serve as a strategic point of defense in the surroundings of London, as well as a means of consolidating Norman power. Windsor Castle was part of a defensive ring of fortifications around London, each located about 32 kilometers from the city and from the next castle, so that, in the event of enemy military action, reinforcements could arrive quickly. Windsor Castle held an important strategic role due to its proximity to the River Thames. Over time, the castle has been used in various ways. It housed political prisoners. In the 13th century, the Lower Ward served as King Henry III's private zoo. During World War II, it was secretly used as a refuge for the royal family. Likewise, during the pandemic, it served as a quarantine location. For many centuries, the castle has also served as one of the royal residences. In addition to Windsor Castle, the royal family has 6 other official residences at their disposal, located in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and mostly in England. These residences are crown properties and range from castles to palaces and houses. The castle is also home to around 150 people who live within its walls, and approximately 500 people work there, including a dedicated military security force. Many events take place at the castle: weddings, burials, religious services, diplomatic ceremonies, the changing of the guard, cultural preservation activities, among many others. It was the venue for the coronation concert of Charles III and Camilla, which was the first outdoor concert ever held at the castle. Complementing all these events, the castle also welcomes a considerable flow of visitors. With nearly 1,000 years of history, there are numerous accounts from staff and visitors about legends, curiosities, and very strange occurrences in the castle, most of them referring to sightings of ghosts of former monarchs. The ghost of King Henry VIII is said to appear limping and groaning in pain, dragging his diseased leg through the corridors near St. George's Chapel, where he was buried. The ghost of Queen Elizabeth I is reported to wander through the royal library and along the castle walls, with the sound of her heels clicking audibly as she passes. It is said that the ghost of Queen Elizabeth I was also seen by Elizabeth II when she was still young. These apparitions seem to occur during times of crisis for the British monarchy. The ghost of King George III appears in the room that was once his chamber. King George III was known to have suffered from bouts of madness. The ghost of Henry VIII's second wife, Anne Boleyn, is frequently seen in the Canon's Cloister, sad and weeping. The ghost of Herne, King Richard III's favorite huntsman, is said to ride through the Great Park at full gallop. There are also other reports of apparitions, including the ghost of Queen Victoria and even medieval knights. There is also the legend of a curse, said to ensure that certain ancient areas of the castle remain preserved. Thus, with so many ghosts wandering its halls, Windsor Castle is known as a famously haunted castle. In 1992, a fire broke out, and staff reported seeing a strange apparition. The fire started in the chapel and spread through more than 100 rooms. There have been other curious events at the castle. On one occasion, during World War II, the crown jewels were buried inside a biscuit tin. As it is a royal residence, it is said that there are underground escape routes leading from the Round Tower to various points in the town of Windsor. Windsor Castle began operating as one of the main tourist attractions in the 1740s. The castle is one of the most sought-after destinations for tourists visiting the United Kingdom. It welcomed over 1.3 million visitors in 2023, and this level of attendance has remained steady. In conclusion, Windsor Castle seems to function in the popular imagination as a true symbol of England's glorious past. The strong interest from tourists could serve as proof of this idea. Not only for that reason, but for everything one can see there, visiting Windsor Castle is a fascinating travel experience. Unfortunately, much of what can be observed inside the castle is for the eyes of those present only. Photography and filming are not allowed. With that, we come to the end of our journey.